All right, we're done live. Take pay for the week or whatever you said. Real quick. Thing about Bill.
Welcome to the State Fair Community College Board of Trustees meeting for September 25th, 2025. We welcome all of you. We'll look forward to hearing so many that are in the crowd. So we'll call the meeting to order, and I would entertain a motion for approval of the agenda.
So moved. Second.
In favor, say aye.
Aye.
Same sign. Lisa, do we have any citizens' comments?
No, we have no comments.
Next on the agenda is the approval of the August 18th, 2025 board meeting minutes. Would entertain a motion.
So moved. Second.
In favor, say aye.
Aye.
Same sign, motion passes. Keith, you're next up with the warrant for August of 2025.
During the month of August 2025, the college dispersed $8,232,157. Of that, $42,073 went to Centric for the Ellerbrock construction. $424,972 went to PCE for residence hall construction. $47,385 went to Septicon for the Tech 2 renovation. And lastly, $2,313,473 went to Mammoth for the beginning of the construction of the athletic fields. So other than that, disbursements is shown.
Entertain a motion to.
Second.
Any questions, discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Now we get to the greatest part, is to find out who our new employees are.
Great. Start off the group. Well, hello and thank you for having us today. Just a quick note before I say anything else, we're gonna come see you. Elena, if you want to come on up here. Elena Sophia is our new education and engagement manager. She comes to us from Italy, and I'm going to let her tell you a little bit about her background, but I do want to say a couple of things, and that is, before she was even really getting started, she was organizing new events for us. So we were at Whiteman Air Force Base her first week here, and she was coordinating that even before we had a chance to bring her to her desk. So, you know, she's gung-ho, she's ready to go out and make things happen. Not only is she taking care of Dom Escape, but she's also forging new partnerships, and she's going to be representing us at the gala tonight too. So thank you. Thanks.
Well, my name is Elena. Sorry for my accent. I come from Italy, so I cannot talk like Mario. I come from an area in northeast of Italy next to. I graduated for my master's and bachelor degree at the Venice University. I also studied abroad at the California State University for a semester. It was like one of those overseas programs. After I graduated, there was COVID, so I really didn't get a chance to work in a museum as I wanted to, apart from my graduate internship there in my universities. So I decided to study because many of us were, forced at home, and I became a substitute teacher. I also took classes with the MoMA Museum. And then I worked for the past 3 years and a half at the United States Air Force Base in Italy. And that's where I eventually met my husband and then moved here to Sedalia. I'm really involved in the community. I'm part of the board member of the Rotary Club because my parents and grandpa were both part of Rotary in Italy. And I just want to make the museum a place where everybody wants to go and is excited to go. So I already thought about a lot of events that are gonna involve not only the Sedalia community, but also the area around base. And yeah, as you guys saw, we already have some events going on, like the yoga event that is coming up next week. And we had so much participation that we actually had to close the enrollment because we had too many people coming. But yeah, thank you for the opportunity. I'm just really happy to be here.
Thank you, Elaine.
Yeah.
Having trouble finding yoga tights, but. All right, Dr. Whitehead.
Gonna follow. Take a moment with that one. I'm introducing Marcy Parkhurst. Marcy is actually coming to us live from the Student Services After Hours desk in the library. Rather than shut that down and have her come here, we're just gonna pull her up on Zoom and she can say a few words after that. Marcy has been, she's a lifelong Sedalia resident. She was actually an SFCC alum, where she came and took classes as a non-traditional student. So she is currently, I'll backtrack a little bit. She's been teaching English for us as an adjunct instructor for 6 years, and then taught as a grad assistant at UCM as well. She's the advisor right now, the navigator for all of the tech programs in fielding. She's way on down the fielding hallway, almost to the CTC, and we are tickled to have her on our team. Marcy, if there's anything you want to add?
I just want to say I'm thrilled to be here full time. It's been a goal of mine since I was a student here to work for State Fair full time, and thank you.
Thank you.
Mercy.
Here.
I have the honor of introducing our two new assistants for men's and women's basketball. Caitlin Everts to my left here. She's part-time with women's basketball as well as admissions. And she played basketball for us here in 2021 and 2022. And she was a student assistant here from 22 to 23. And she comes from Northwest Missouri State. So Caitlin Everts originally from Knob Noster. Then we have Brian Adams, and no, I don't think he can sing the Summer of '69, but
He could try.
he could try.
Words.
He's originally from Liberty, Missouri, and he's also part-time men's basketball, athletics, and MPC. He went to William Jewell, and then after that, he went to Missouri Southern, graduated. He coached 6 years in high school, and then he wanted to get his master's, get back in college. So he is coming from us from Central Methodist University. So our two new assistants.
No, I love it here already. I think the community's been awesome and welcoming for me and my girlfriend to come to town. And I love coming to work every day.
I'm just super excited for the opportunity. I'm glad to be back home as well and to be back on campus working with Coach Collier, Panera, and admissions as well. So our student services. So, yeah.
Welcome, Kate.
Thank you. We got it.
Doc, we're skipping.
Yeah, my apologies. We had a little snafu on me, and so Devin, I'll bring you back next month.
We're getting this one. Allison.
You introduced.
Hello, I am super thrilled to introduce you to Miss Mary Zimmerman. She is on Zoom with us today. Mary is our new administrative assistant for nursing at currently the Eldon campus, soon to be the LOZ campus, since we're going to be moving there in the next few months. So Mary comes to us from Illinois. She lived in Illinois for a very long time, and she actually taught interpersonal communications and public speaking for a community college just south of Chicago for about 20 years. So she has a lot of higher ed experience, so we're really excited to have her on board. She moved to the Lake of the Ozarks a couple of years ago when she got married to her husband Jeremy, and they enjoy riding Harleys around and looking at wildlife and just lake life in general. So we're super excited to have Mary on board. Mary, do you want to
Say something, because
Hi, can you hear me hopefully? Thank you. So appreciative for this opportunity to get back into higher ed. I worked part-time for Lake Regional, which was an awesome experience, but
excited to get back into higher ed with the kiddos. So we would love to have you stop by the LOZ campus and check out the new nursing facilities as soon as they're done. And I can give you some really awesome recommendations for the best Mexican food in the whole state of Missouri here at the lake. So hope to see you sometime here.
Thank you, Mary.
I'd like to introduce Alyssa Brent. He is our new technical support specialist. She comes originally from Iowa, but her husband and 4 kids call Sedalia their home. Alyssa likes technical challenges and she likes people challenges too. That's why she likes being in IT.
You have a perfect staff for that.
Exactly. That's right. She puts up with our humor, so that says something about her too. So he loves to creative side too. She likes to do gardening. She loves cooking, painting, and crochet. Did I get all those right? Again, she is a great fit for our department. Sure, her humor fits in, which is says something about her.
Hi, it's great to meet everyone. I know I run around a lot and meet a lot of new faces, so I'm sure you're gonna see a lot more of me. It's been really great to be here. The environment and the staff has just been so friendly, exciting, and I just can't wait to work on more of your stuff that continuously breaks. So, just get a hold of me and I'll be there. Thank you.
Now that you're introduced, what you said by Trustee Carr, because he.
I'll let you say. I have a feeling this might break tonight.
We have 3 tonight that I'm really excited to introduce. We'll start with John because he's closest to me. John has joined us. He was born and raised here in Sedalia. He comes to us from the city of Sedalia where he worked maintaining their fleets. He was a program specialist there. And before he worked at the city of Sedalia, he was a lead technician at the Nissan dealership, which I'm really, really excited about that since I drive Nissan. Excited about that one. He comes to us with over 30 years experience, over 30 years combined experience in automotive field. He's ASE certified, so all the things that we really needed. In his spare time, he enjoys going to car shows and he enjoys family time and he's loving this fall weather.
I just want to say the short time that I've been here interacting with the students and the staff, it's very welcoming. You can go anywhere that you will meet somebody that'll put a smile on your face, help you with anything that you need, and the eagerness of the children to learn is just very inspiring.
Welcome to
Next, I have Maggie Cole. She comes to us from Warrensburg. And she is actually a PhD student in economics, which is very near and dear to my heart. She is working on that PhD. She graduated with her BSBA in Econ from the University of Central Missouri. They're down the street. She's at Claremont Graduate University right now. And her areas of focus, which again were really interesting to me because they're my areas of focus as well, microeconomics, econometrics, and policy evaluation for what she's doing. In her spare time, she likes to golf. She was part of the UCM golf team.
I will add that I just echo everything that has been said. I love where I work. I love my job and everybody is very kind and I'm very grateful to be here. So say hi. My name is Margaret or Maggie, whatever you call me. It's fine.
And I have to Beckett. He is joining our CDL team through our learning course. He grew up, he was actually born in California, and I didn't get the whole story as to how you got from California to Stockton, Missouri.
My grandfather moved to Missouri because he was born in Post Oak. And he and his brother had a drilling company down near Stockton, and my family moved. So we drilled water wells in Southwest Missouri for 20, 30 years. So that got me to Stockton when I was 5.
Like, he's like the, usually say jack of all trades, but he's like the jack of all trades, master of all. He was a park ranger.
I've been a park ranger, almost 30 years of IT experience. Yeah, I have interests in camping and boating and aviation. I fly model airplanes and drones. This last year, I'm just doing a major life change, and I'm out of the IT, and I'm having a lot of fun with the trucks. I grew up around heavy equipment, and there's something about diesel smell, diesel exhaust in the morning. It just brought me back to it, and everybody said how welcoming it is, and that's all I thought about today. That's why I want to say that. But everybody said everyone has been welcoming to me and apparently all the other new people. And I just, coming from a zoo, it's a neat place, but this is like family here. So I just want to really drive that home, that I really appreciate it. And I'll try to keep my speech less than 30 minutes.
Mark, quit eyeballing him.
Welcome all of you. You all may slip out if you would like, or you can stick around for this exciting meeting.
I have to take it personal.
Yeah, the accent.
I think we are ready for the institution report. Mary,
Hello. I am not a PowerPoint person, nor am I liking to clutter your email, but I did provide you some information yesterday, and I noticed that Lisa put it on the board page, so you have the information available, but I'm just going to recap a few things that are on the notes for me. First, as all the new boys said, the moment that we all need to say thank you for the opportunity to work for State Fair. So as the family we join, I want you to know how much I appreciate this job. Born and raised in the area, it's great to be an asset to the college at this time frame. And I hope that I am viewed as an asset. So thank you for the opportunity to serve the college, and I enjoy what I do. Yes, we all have our frustration days, and today has been one of them. So my peak of emotions are right on my sleeve today, but I'm going to move forward. So August 21st, we had our annual foundation board meeting. This is the point when we recap our full year. Our fiscal year ends, obviously, on June 30th. So based on the fiscal 25 year, we have recapped what some information is to be shared with our board, and also to introduce what is available in the fiscal 26 year. So we ended on June 30th with just almost $31 million in endowment money alone. Endowment money is the money that we have in investments through our processes, and it provides scholarship support and also program support to the college. So one of the sheets you receive shows a breakdown of what our scholarship dollars are and what our program support dollars are. So last year in fiscal 25, we provided over $343,000 to student scholarships alone. I calculated that and pulled up the information. For those dollars, we were able to award 255 students those scholarships. And when I tell you that that estimates in the endowment funds just alone, that's over 112 scholarship endowments. So when I tell you 112 scholarships, some scholarships provide 5 to 8 scholarships, some provide 1 scholarship disbursement. So each of those scholarships are different, but that's how to calculate it, just to give you an idea. So not only do we have endowment scholarships, we also have scholarships, what we call annual scholarships. So if you look at this sheet that says the 3 fiscal years at the top, you can see what we kind of give you in balance in regards to what annual scholarships provide out and what endowment. So the difference between annual scholarships and endowments, annuals are not invested in the same process of our investment policy as our annual scholarship dollars are, because generally they're turned out within a semester time frame. So we generally get the gift within the same fiscal year of providing it back out. So just to give you a recap in regards to that. Scholarship dollars is a big endowment that we hold within our whole endowment policy. But one other scholarship and one other things that we hold is also program support. So program support can be anything from the capital campaign support to actual support within the library, support within the DOM. So they calculate in all different ways. We have a speaker investment for just nursing. That's a great one in regards to lectureships and things like that. So to give you a recap, not only is our support for just students, and not only is it for our program support, we're the holistic part of the foundation of what we provide back to the college. And also when we're providing money back to the college, just to let you know and be informed of this, that I think you all know this, but today it kind of hit me. There is no percentage of it that we hold within the foundation. So all money is just a walk through in regards to flow through our accounts. So we don't keep a percentage of that. There are some foundation offices that do. We're here to provide as much dollar support to the college and to our students. So also in the student support, one of the things that we don't really show out, we're always there for student emergency help. So when I tell you, like, you wear your feelings on your sleeve, there's things that happen on a daily basis, and when some of those hit you a little differently, just to let you know, we don't have a true application process. We don't have a true fund that provides to that, but we will always find money for our students. If there's one thing we've learned, we were trying to be very student focused centered, and I think we've done a great job of that from the day we opened the doors here. And I hope that in the time frame that I've served in the foundation, that we've also carried that mission forward. So I hope that is very evident in regards to our faculty and staff reaching out to the foundation. I also want to say we live in a very giving community, and I appreciate the support that our community and our donors provide, not only at a state level and also in regards to grant level, but that's something to recognize too. We couldn't be where we are today if it wasn't for the history that we have with the donors that belong on our constituent files. I have a great staff. I don't do this alone. I tell Dr. Bates all the time, when you say thank you to one person in that office, there's two other people that work behind the scenes just as much as me, and Irina and Megan need just as much a credit in regards to what we do on a daily basis. I also want to tell you that some updates in that the Ellenbrock A&M building is complete in regards to the capital campaign. When I say it's complete, there's still lots of naming opportunities, and we're still working on those to be completed also. That may be a year down the road, that may be 50 years down the road, I don't know, but there is naming opportunities that will always be fulfilled. That same goes in Olin Howard, that same goes in regards to the Yater building, you name it, we still have opportunities that are always, when we finalize the capital campaign, finalizing it means that it's finalized in the dollars that we've raised, but there's also naming opportunities that will put us above and beyond. So you've also noticed that we have started the athletic complex. A very exciting time. Back in March, we announced we were in the midst of a $15 million capital campaign for an athletic complex. We are a little over $5 million today on the fundraising aspect of the athletic complex, and that is also in pledge and in regards to money in the bank. There will be a rendering, so if you're receiving phone calls like I do on almost a daily basis, I haven't received one today, what's going on the west side of campus? So there is not a big grand picture, and if you weren't part of the gala event, you didn't hear this announcement. So this is no secret to our community, but there's a lot of people, like we talk about, that just are not aware of what we're doing, and so that's a good thing that they call you and ask. So very exciting to see that being complete in regards to that. Any questions in regards to the Ellenbrock or the capital campaign for the athletic complex, or any questions in doubt in regards to any paperwork that I ever provide to you? Know my office is available, phone call, text, whatever you need, email, I'm available. I'll open it up for questions.
Is the rendering going to be?
The rendering is on part of the banner that is coming up forward from Mammoth. So my understanding is Mammoth was moving forward. Their marketing staff got involved in the rendering, and it slowed them.
The printer, and it will be on the fence along the road so people can see.
So, any other questions? Like, side note, I always prepare for this meeting, over prepare, and this year I told myself I was not going to over prepare. And you did it again. You asked me one question, so bring it on. So,
I appreciate largest capital campaign complete in the history of the college. Credit to you and your team for that.
And I think one step further is we've built 3 buildings and an athletic complex in the last 5 years, 4 years. And I think it's a testimony to you and your team as well. I don't think there's a lot of questions from us is because of the detail you provide each and every day. But if you go through these line by line, you realize how important the foundation is to the operation of the college. Really appreciated.
Thank you. I hope that we are always available. I don't look at it as a job that I just do today. It's the longevity that we're providing to the college. So will we always be able to give easy supports in some fiscal years? Yes, but also looking at the investments is for the long term. So any other questions?
To embarrass Mary, but she was late for a meeting today because she was with a student. And I bet that's why the emotions are on her sleeve today. So thank you for that work.
Oh, anyway, thank you for your question.
Thank you.
Looks like we're going to hear a citizen report.
Where?
Need to share my screen. Zoom, no.
Can you?
Get away. Okay, well, I think I know everybody, but if I don't, I'm Becky Rose. I've worked with this lovely lady over here, Darcy. Previously worked for that crazy gentleman back there. But I have the fun job of working with data. Some people don't like data. I love data. I think it's so much fun to look at it and analyze it and dig into it. So Mark told me I needed to talk like a chipmunk so that I could get fast through this, but I want you to understand the data.
I said 1.5.
Okay, same thing. So fall census. Census is the 20th class day of our semester in the fall and spring. So that was the 15th this year. And we always take that as our official snapshot for all of our external reports. So this year our head count was 4,502, our credit hours 43,473.5. So the next question Dr. Bates always has is, how does that compare to last year? So we are up, just like we were in the spring. We're up in both head count and credit hours. And the percent change in head count is 6.13 and in credit hours is 8.42. So we're going to look a little bit further at some trends. So then the next question is always, well, how does that look over the last 10 years or so? So these are 10-year trends that I've shared with you. I think when I shared this with ELT, we said that we identified that 2013 was our peak. So this doesn't go quite back that far. But what you can see here is head count, first of all. On the far left, that was 2016. We had 5,144. Far right is current, 4,502. I highlighted just a couple of years in there just so you can see our lowest point was 2022, 3,725 was head count. But then we are right back up in between what 2018 and 2019 head count would have been. So over the last few years, we've been trending back up. Head count is wonderful, but the revenue is in the credit hours, right? So however many credit hours students take, that's where we generate revenue. So the trend is pretty much the same, but you will see one difference. You'll see that the low point for credit hours was actually 2021 instead of 2022 as it was in head count. Again, we are right back up between the 2018 and 2019 marker on credit hours. So we're trending the right direction. And then for a little bit of context, how do we look compared to our peers? So I just want to orient you to this slide just a little bit. This is from the National Community College Benchmark Project. And what is showing on the left is 140 days before census. How are we tracking as far as percent change in our credit hours? And then the farther to the right you go, the closer you get to census. Census is at the far right. So it's the number of days out from census. And the lines are looking
what you're looking at, the black is nationally. What does that percent change look like? Remember, our percent change was 8.14, I think, 8.42, sorry. So this is the percent change. How are we comparing? So the blue line is us. You can see that we're above the national average in percent change. So our increase is a higher increase than the national percent change. And then the green is mid-air. That's the basically Midwest colleges, community colleges, Missouri, Arkansas, Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas, so Oklahoma. So how do we look compared to those folks? Again, we are above. So we're above. We're increasing at a faster rate than they were in our percent change of credit hours. So then after that, you look at how do you compare against yourself? So you start looking at the different variables, and one of them is residency. If you look at our students, where do they come from? 68% are from Missouri. That means they're not the in-district student, they're the Missouri resident student. But then 29% are in-district. So add those together, most of our students are from Missouri. 1% foreign, 2% out of state. And then I'd like to put this one in here. And somebody told me last time, I think it was Richard, maybe we have 114 counties. Is that right? So,
The city of St. Louis.
okay. So we're at 85 counties represented. Even though we have a 14 county service area, we have 85 counties represented in our students that are attending this fall. And last fall, that was 80. So we've increased. Then if you look at credit hours by course location, I always like to point out course location is not the same as the number of students served at a campus. For instance, you'll see in a little bit that we look at modality of where students take classes. A student can be an all online student, but get services at Whiteman, or they can go to Clinton to get services. So this is just strictly looking at where students are taking courses. So you can see that the brown rusty color is Sedalia, 38.9%. And I put the decimal on here so you can see the distinction between Sedalia and online campus, the blue. The online campus is almost as much of our credit hour production as Sedalia now. So, and I think the online increased year over year by 12%. So it's growing at a faster rate than the Sedalia campus. It increased year over year by 10-something%. So it's growing at a faster rate even than our Sedalia campus enrollment. Also, if you look at this, on the right on the pie, you'll see the dual credit high school is 8%. Those are the students who are taking dual credit courses at a high school. We'll talk a little bit about other places that dual credit students take classes, but 8% are taking their credit hours at a high school. You'll notice also the kind of darker green is the SFCC CTC. Those are students who are also dual credit, but they're taking their dual credit at our CTC. So if you add those together, you're at 11% of our students are taking their credit hours as dual credit. Then the remaining 11-ish% of our credit hour generation are our extended sites. Then just if you want to look at the percent change and how it's changed since last fall, I have organized this by the highest percentage change. So what's increasing the most is at the top, and what's increasing the least is at the bottom. So you notice that dual credit high school, those credit hours have increased by 20% since last year. So you've heard me say whenever I shared with you the spring census that dual credit is increasing. Again, we're seeing that same trend here. Dual credit continues to increase and be a larger proportion of our credit hours. And then I just want to point out a couple others. The online campus and Sedalia campus, you'll see that our fall 2025 credit hours, they are neck and neck. They are almost exactly the same, but the percent change on the online campus is slightly higher. So it is growing a little bit faster than our Sedalia. Then I said this a little while ago, when you look at where our students take classes, do they take those classes online? Do they take them on ground? Do they do both? it's surprising that only 40% of our students take classes only on ground. 31% take them both online and on ground. 29% are online only. And I shared this story because my kids, I went to Central Methodist and got my degree through here at State Fair Community College, my master's degree, and I've never stepped foot on the Fayette campus. Never been there. But I have a degree from Central Methodist University. And we may have students that are like that as well, that never have stepped foot on the Sedalia campus because 29% are online only. So something to think about. So what is our trend for online on ground? You can see that online only is increasing, but then even increasing more than that are students that are taking both online and on ground. So we have students who are in the residence hall that are taking online classes. You know, it's not just the students that live far away that are taking online. It's a mixture of students that are taking those online classes. Stop me at any time if you have questions. I'm trying to be mindful of Mark over here and go fast. So if you look at our head count and credit hours, how does it look as far as full-time and part-time? So on the left, you can see we are almost 50-50 as far as head count, students who are full-time and part-time. And I put the extra decimal on there so you could see 50.1 versus 49.9 on the part-time, because if I let it round, it would look like 50-50. This is a change from last year. Last year, we were more part-time. So we are trending to the full-time side. And then if you look at the credit hours, it's no surprise that credit hours generated, our full-time students take the lion's share of the credit hours. How does that compare to previous? Last fall, our full-time head count was 48.5%. Now it's 50.1. So we're trending toward the full-time head count side. On credit hours, same thing. You can see the same increase in the full-time credit hours went from 71% last fall to 72 this fall. Then looking at gender, and I'm sure this is no surprise to you that our female population is a much larger proportion than our male population at State Fair. And that has been true. It's been growing ever since I've been working at State Fair for the last 20+ years. Last fall, our proportion of our head count was 65.5% female, and it is grown to 66.4% this fall. Degree seeking status. So of the students that are here, how many of them are seeking a degree and how many are not seeking a degree? And oftentimes the question I get about the non-degree is, well, who are those students? Those are our dual credit students. Those are our visiting students. And those are students who are just taking personal interest classes. And there are a few that are Whiteman General Education Mobile, a few of them, but those are our non-credit. And again, credit hours doesn't come as a surprise that our degree seeking are taking the majority of our credit hours. How does that compare? So last fall, we were at 64% degree seeking in head count and 80% degree seeking in credit hours. So you see that our degree seeking is increasing as well. Then if you look at our breakout of those students a little bit more, the degree seeking makes up roughly 66% of our students. Those students are continuing returning students, are the biggest population. They're 34%. Those are the students who hopefully are being successful and continuing, persisting, being retained, and eventually completing. So that is great to see that proportion. First-time freshmen, I'll show this in a minute or two, but our first-time freshman population is growing. Those first-time freshmen are the students that you'll often hear talked about when we talk about fall-to-fall retention rates for our iPads, 3-year completion graduation rates. Those students are the ones that are important in those populations. So seeing that we're having more of those is kind of exciting. Also, those students are the students that have never gone to college anywhere since graduating high school. So typically they're the ones who just graduated, but it could be somebody that stopped out a few years and never went to college. So it could be some students who've been out of high school for a while. Then looking at non-degree, our dual credit enrollment, as I already mentioned, is 33% of our head count. So that population continues to grow. That's the majority of those non-degree students. Credit hours, you can see the degree seeking students, those continuing returning, take 67% of our credit hour load. First time freshmen are only taking 16.5%. And when I shared this with ELT, I think it was Keith and or Dr. Murders, one of them said, well, that means maybe those first time freshmen are not taking a full, not taking 15 hours. So just something to think about. And then the non-degree seeking, that represents 13% of our credit hours. Those dual credit students, again, are the bulk of that. So if you look over time, what has changed the most? If you just look at percent change, sometimes it's a little deceiving because if you look at the visiting student type, you can see it looks like, wow, they're growing by leaps and bounds. But then you look at the numbers, you can see they just doubled from 12 to 24. But some of the ones that I think are more important are those next two, the first time freshmen and the continuing students, that those are increasing. Continuing especially, those are the ones that are going to be successes. If they keep with it and they persist, then those are going to be successful students who accomplish their degree or goal. Then if you look at, okay, what degrees are these students seeking? You can see that the majority are seeking the Associate of Arts degree, 16% the AAS, and then there are a handful there that make up a small portion, the AAT, AFA, AGS, AS, and CERT, and then the 34% is the non-credit, non-degree seeking, non-credit, sorry, non-degree seeking folks. So again, if you just look at percent change in headcount, it looks like AGS, the Associate of General Studies, is growing by leaps and bounds. Well, it went from 1 to 4, so that's good. But the thing that I think is significant to look at here, our students are opting to go for the 2-year degree rather than the ST, which is the 1 semester skill certificate, or the CERT, which is the 1-year professional certificate. So you can see a shift by looking at that percent change column that more of our students are pursuing the 2-year degrees. So less of them are pursuing just the certificates. And this is just looking at their primary degree. So students can declare lots of different majors. They can declare the AAS, the professional certificate, and the skill certificate or the AA. So this is just looking at what is their primary major. And then for those of you who are in ELT, I modified this one since I shared it with you. This one is only looking at students who are your regular student who's come here after high school. So it's excluded the dual credit students so that that's not skewing the information. So if you're looking at age, 77% of our students are that traditional 18 to 24 or less than 24. I'll say it that way. So the majority of our students are those traditional students. 23% are non-traditional, 25 and older. The next slide shows you a little bit more detail. There is 1% that's less than 18 that's not dual credit. That's interesting to me. So those are the students who are probably homeschooled and got their GED and now are coming here. The students who are under 18. 76% in the 18 to 24 traditional age range, and then you can see the other ages there. So again, the age range that has the biggest change year over year is that 25 to 34 year bracket of students that increased by 11.2%. That's our biggest increase. Then looking at dual credit. So I said dual credit students account for 33% of our head count and 19% of our credit hours. Where do they take those classes? Because we know they're not just taking them at a high school. 41% of their credit hours are at that high school. But then if you look, many of them are taking their credit hours online. 36% of those credit hours are online. 17% of those credit hours are at our CTC. And then 6% are actually on campus. And that grew from, and I can't remember how much, but that grew from last year to this year. And I think that's because, somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we're bringing students from Smith Cotton to take classes here as dual credit. Then looking at athletics, we've got all the dirt work going over here on our athletics field. How does that look as far as our student athletes? This fall, we have 306 students who have an active sport on their information. That's almost 7% of our head count. 4,223 credit hours, that's almost 10% of our credit hours. So then if you look at, okay, so I know your next question is going to be what changed, what grew. So you can see that from last fall to this fall, we have added 53 additional athletes. And I highlighted just a couple in bold because those are the ones that had the biggest change in head count. Our esports grew from 18 last fall to 38 this fall. And they added 20 additional students. Softball grew from 21 to 34. So they added 13 additional. That's the majority of our 53. Any questions about that? Nope. Okay, going on. And then looking at our programs. So again, I already said that students can declare multiple majors. So this is only looking at where a student's primary major is. So the majority of our students, if you're looking at program by department, are in the pre-health. There are 881 of those students that are waiting to get into a health science program. So we have a large proportion of our students that are in the pre-health. And when I showed you the that 40% of our students are in the AA seeking program, that is a large proportion of them. So even though they're seeking an AA degree right now, they're waiting to get into one of those AAS programs. Right, right. And then you can see those others. Some of our biggest programs, education, business, you can see business on there twice. The reason that it is on there twice, if it says business, those are our AA business degree seeking students. So they're going to transfer and get a 4-year degree in business. But then you can see business management. That is the AAS in business management. So that's in Misty's area. So there's a distinction. And practical nursing and ADN nursing are broken out. You added them together, they might be a little. And the one that really surprised me is our students who are AA seeking a psychology degree. That's in the top 10. So they want to transfer and get a psychology degree. Then this one, again, I want to provide the caveat that it's looking at their primary program. And I know, for instance, some of the respiratory care students and surgical technology students may also have AA as their primary major. So that's not showing us the total of respiratory care and surgical technology students, but just looking at their primary major, this is what our lowest enrollment areas are. So typical student profile. So if I were just to walk around campus and see average Joe on campus, what would that student be like? Well, the majority of them are going to be Missouri residents out of district. And now for the first time, they're going to be full-time, female, degree seeking, continuing or returning, traditional age, and seeking an Associate of Arts degree program. So some of the highlights, just to recap here, our head count and credit hours are both up. SFCC's percentage increase from last fall to this fall is ahead of the national benchmark as well as the mid West region. Online is on the rise, It is nearly equal to our Sedalia enrollment now. And some of the trends that we're seeing, first-time freshmen is increasing, emails and full-time students are increasing. Okay, I think that's it. What questions do you all have?
You know too much.
Well, you have the slideshow, so if you want to dig into it. Any questions?
Very good. Well done explaining. Couple points. 97% Missouri resident, something the legislature probably needs to hear in comparison to the four-year institutions in the state of Missouri that are being supported by tax dollars. And the trend towards, if it shows a continuing trend towards the reseeking the two-year associate degree completion, which is a good thing and is one of the other benchmarks that the state of Missouri has been highlighting. So those are two very positive.
Anybody else? All right, well, looks like we'll move on our agenda to the Aleutian contract extension.
Next on the agenda. Recommended the Board of Trustees authorize the President and Vice President Finance Administration to enter into discussions with the Aleutian Company LLC to amend and extend the existing contract for licensed software and managed services in order to provide enhanced software services and lower costs to State Fair Community College. It's further recommended the Board authorize the President Finance Administration to sign any and all amended and extended agreements with the Aleutian Company LLC. The amended agreements will provide the college with enhanced software services and cost savings over the term of the amended agreements as compared to the existing agreements and as confirmed by the Vice President Finance Administration.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Your second. Any discussion or question? Same sign, motion passes. The outdoor athletic complex.
So with the outdoor complex, we are building the concession stand. It's recommended the Board of Trustees approve proposal from Collister Construction of Sedalia, Missouri for the construction of a concessions building, the outdoor athletic complex site. Total bid price is not to exceed $650,000. This was the only bid received. It's only been received. It's further recommended the Board authorize the President and Vice President for Finance and Administration to sign any and all agreements with Collister Construction for construction of the concession building and funding its outdoor athletic complex construction funds.
Entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Questions, discussion?
I think this is concession stand is sort of understating involved. It's concession stand. It's rooms for the athletic complex. There's a officials room area, dressing area, changing area involved. It's also include an area for physical therapy and assessment part of the construction. Not only that, this is also going to house the electrical system for the project, so that if we want lights to work or scoreboards to work, we've got to have this building to house the electrical components and electrical system. So it's far more than just a concession stand.
That's a great point. It also includes an outdoor patio that's partially, at least partially covered too, so. There's a lot more in a concession stand. Also, this process saved the college probably around $350,000 to $400,000 from the original estimates from other architects. That represents a cost savings.
We're gonna attempt to new building trades. Utilize some building.
They're gonna try to both our college construction management, building trades as possible, and there are other processes they're working with to make this a feasible project for us.
We named it just concessions, man. This should be a multifaceted, multi-year diamond complex. We need to rename this.
It had better branding. Yeah,
Who did this? I mean, nachos. I was gonna say, that's an expensive building for nachos and popcorn.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Now the LOZ campus renovation.
As you know, we're renovating the LSD campus, so we're redoing the nursing. We have a change order in here to actually expand that to renovate, where we've taken on extra space and rework some of the office buildings there, as you saw inside. But recommended the Board of Trustees approve change order 01, the amount of $50,000 from Wilsman Construction to relocate the LOZ campus mall entrance and renovate one of the entrances and renovate the added campus space and adjacent existing office space. And funding is the LOZ renovation construction funds. So we took on some new space, we're gonna extend that and fill it.
I would entertain a motion to approve. A second.
Second.
Is there discussion?
So this is just a change order or additional thing.
All in favor, say aye. Same sign. Motion passes. Donation of surplus college property.
We have over the years accumulated a fair amount of surplus property. We'll talk about the scoreboard, this, but also you saw in there the large amount of classroom furniture as we built buildings, renovated buildings. It's accumulated and it's time for us to need to move it. One way or the other, the goal would be to donate it. So to do that, we have to declare it surplus. So it's recommended for the Board of Trustees to first approve the donation of State Fair Community College personal property. It has been determined to be no longer needed by the college. It's thus deemed surplus. This will be donated on their soccer scoreboard and various classroom furnishings such as chairs, bookcases, desks, and tables. These items will be donated to other public school systems or not-for-profit 501(c)(3) charitable organizations.
Okay, would entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Questions or discussion? I'm not sure where you had all that stuff. When I saw those pictures, I'm like, you can see them, so it must be a lot. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those same sign. Motion passes.
We can probably get moved from storage space for putting them in.
Board approval bids.
So you have with you, there's a fairly long, board approval bid table. On there are basically there's some computers in there for both students and instructors, and then a long list of items, from Excels for, really the Ella Brock, some of the programs in the Ella Brock building. One of it is the automotive program in there. In fact, probably most of it's the automotive program. So that's what all of those are. So as always, when we have these, it's recommended the Board of Trustees accept the bids for State Fair Community College purchases shown in the table, incorporating the exhibits herein. The awarded bids were based on all criteria and specifications in each bid. The awarded bid is the lowest and most responsible bidder, meeting the required specifications. And any item in the table may be removed and taken up as a separate purchase item, so requested by any member of the board. Otherwise, all bids will be voted on one motion. Further recommended that for each of these approved bids, and as and if required, the Vice President of Finance Administration be authorized to direct me to sign any and all agreements and perform those acts as necessary to carry out the terms of any agreement signed. And the funding is as shown in the table.
Your item, you need. request we put. Well, then to the motion and- Any questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Same sign. Motion passes.
Yes, it's a little late, but these are items that were included in the budget that was approved before the school year began.
With mold sales funds mostly.
The Desi area career construction.
So we have again this year received the money from Betsy for our area career center construction grant. By more building anything this year, we have some need for some renovation. So we took advantage of some of these funds to do that. So as before, Missouri House Bill 2 in the Missouri FY26 DESI budget allocated $5,500,000 to the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education for design, renovation, construction, and improvements of career technical schools, provided the costs are shared at a ratio of 50% state and 50% local. State Fair Community College applied for has been awarded $212,500 for updating the HVAC and the lighting in the CTC portion of the Fielding Technology Center. These funds must be spent by May 15, 2026. Recommend the Board of Trustees authorize the President to accept the DESI Area Career Center Construction Grant as described above.
Entertain a motion. Second. Discussion. All in favor, say aye. Same sign. For the election.
Okay. Let's recommend the Board of Trustees approve the payments for the Proposition A SFCC operating levy election to the following counties. Primarily Pettis County at $48,815.57. Benton County estimated at $9,000. Morgan County, $871.13. The remaining counties estimated at $22,500 total. Funding is contingency funds in the FY26 operating budget. Make that a 6.
Right, entertain a motion. Approve.
Don't move.
Second.
Second.
Questions, discussion?
We haven't received a statement from Benton County yet. And they said it'll be in time for the next board meeting likely. The good news in Benton County is they do have 2 other items on their parts of their county on the ballot. So we won't sole ballot. There's an election in for the Morgan County Silver School District for athletic complex, and in the Wheatland School District, some consolidation going on there with another. So we'll both be on that ballot. County.
Hearing no more discussion, all in favor, say aye. Pose same sign, motion passes. Legislative advocacy meeting, which is for informational purposes.
Well, this is really a discussion item. So we have scheduled 2 each year. We have legislative advocacy events where we invite legislators onto campus and we talk to them about State Fair Community College and educate them on things that are important to us. And it's I think it's been very successful as we've developed relationships with legislators, and they recognize us when we go into the Capitol, and all of the board's been active with that. So I think those initiatives have paid off for us in multiple ways. So we have scheduled 2 of those events this year. They're in November, I believe. The Lynn sent out a state of the time period for you guys. And if not, I'll look it up and let you know that I forgot to write it down. Actually, I had notes for this and I can't find them right now. So, so we have 2 dates. They're both in November. I think one of them is the week after in the same week of the election. So we're in Sedalia and in Jefferson City. In addition to inviting our area legislators, I've also invited 3 members of the coordinating board for higher education.
So I think that this is a great opportunity for us to establish a relationship with the members of the coordinating board that work with the Department of Higher Education to establish policy and make recommendations to the governor and legislature on things that affect us. And I think it behooves us to have a relationship with them. The chairman of the coordinating board, the board is comprised of representatives from each congressional district plus an at-large member. The chairman of the board is from, represents Mark Alford's district, and he's from south of here, Stockton or over. But anyway, we have sent her an invitation. I visited her with her at the coordinating board of higher education meeting last week. And I'm hopeful that she'll be able to attend. And then the at-large member is also from Mr. Hammonds of the Black Walnut Company. Then I also invited a member from Trenton, from the Trenton area. He's a community college advocate, Central. He's personally talked to me about coming down and visiting the college and seeing our campus. So I took that opportunity to invite him down. So I've invited those 3 CBHE members. I'm hopeful that they'll come. But I wanted to have a discussion with the board about things that you think are important for the legislative advocacy event in Sedalia and Jefferson City. I'm going to suggest a couple of things, not to set the agenda or anything, but to kind of give you a heads up about a couple of things. In Jefferson City, as you know, we are in a process of expansion and serving that community. And so I think it's really important for us to work on that relationship with those legislators that represent that area. So I'm hopeful that they'll be in attendance. But we started the campus there. You could see it's grown. It keeps growing. It's on Lincoln University campus. But as you know, we've been working with the industries in Jefferson City. And Dr. Murders and I have been working with Lincoln University, with the local school district, and with Unilever primarily, but some other industries to build some training programs that really kind of start in high school and move through graduate degree programs. Dr. Murders has written a request in Mo Excels this year, the state grant program that can fund new initiatives, to fund a training center for that industrial training. So we don't know where that might be. It could be on Lincoln's campus. It could be a warehouse that we convert, but he put in funds for leasing a facility and remodeling a facility and equipping a facility to train in our industry. We have a significant grant right now, a new jobs grant with Unilever for the next 5 years, a huge grant, and their new line expansion for their liquid IV expansion. So they're very excited about our training, really bragging about it as a model internationally for their training. So building on that with that center. So I think we want to talk about that training program. Maybe we could have some people from the state support on that, talk about the importance State Fair Community College plays in that. And maybe Unilever folks there support that. So that's one idea I have at the Jefferson City place. So what else do you guys are you thinking about? What approach should we take?
Yeah. Property tax is going to be an issue. The legislative session coming up, and not only interested in amount of revenue we will see, but also finding out the legislators are and what they're thinking and what the goals are in looking at the system.
Morning, I heard on the radio, Tim Taylor talking about property taxes. He chaired the House Property Tax Committee. He said that there is a strong movement to eliminate property taxes and replace it with sales tax. And he said he thinks personally that would be a mess to accomplish and be way too complicated to do. And he doesn't see it happen. But he said he had to acknowledge that there's a lot of interest in eliminating taxes. So, you know, I think listening and finding out the position first is kind of important.
Yeah, because the allocation of the sales tax, they be a real issue.
Well, if all of our property taxes were replaced with sales tax, and then also there's a movement to eliminate income tax and replace it with sales tax, that would make a pretty significant sales tax.
Just say from a overarching view, just a gentle encouragement that you know, there's so much talk and emphasis on workforce development. Remember that it happens at community colleges.
To that end, I was thinking, in my notes, I had it written more eloquently, but I'll stumble through it. If we could share our, you know, our strategic plan and a big emphasis, so that strategic plan is built around instead of looking inside at a college, looking outside and really building our ROI. And that's what our public is demanding from us. And that's what we're doing here. So, you know, it's about that giving all students marketable skills to get jobs is a big part of our strategic plan and establishing those. There are pieces throughout that we can kind of weave these elements in from our strategic plan. So I think that's a great idea, Jeff, to do that. Maybe we can get some help from people to help us tell that story, either students or industry. What else?
Well, components from the census data that we talked about earlier be reflected in our service report. 97% of students being served State Fair College are Missouri residents. And Missouri dollars are educating Missouri students.
They can't know it all, and even people who live in our community don't know what we have. So, you know, for those who are making those financial decisions for education, getting them here and actually showing them. It's not just a matter of walking through.
The meeting in Sedalia will be in the Dome. In the Dome, that's right. But I think we'll plan that tour of the new Ellenbrock A&M as part of it. There was the transfer legislation that was passed in the legislature. That we're working on implementing that. Chief academic officers are working, I think, this week on some implementation strategies for that project. The universities are also implementing strategies to make sure their positions are represented. And so I think it might be important at this to give an update on that Transfer Act and emphasize the importance of our students transferring in a smooth way. Maybe Dr. Murders can help us with that. Anything else? We're building a service report like we've done last year. That's in progress. We have copies of the planning documents, so. If you have other thoughts, let me know.
Time for your report.
So you have the calendar in front of you. Just note a couple of things. The theater season starts October 1st. So if you would like a little culture, it's a Shakespeare as you like it. That's probably one of your favorites.
It's a very lighthearted.
Music season starts as well, October 7th with the instrumental concert and choir on October 9th. Fall break is October 13th through the 17th. The students get a break. Our faculty and staff will be in professional development. We do have Friday off on that week. So those are some highlights in October. You can see dates, things that are happening further on, including our election. The second item included a graph handout for the Start Fresh program. That's October 9th. It's a evening program from 5 to 7 p.m. October 8th. I'll write it down. October 8th. And it's a program targeting non-traditional students. And so people come in, we'll have childcare available, some food. Faculty from all different areas will be there to talk about their programs, and it's a great effort to target non-traditional students. When they talked about the height of our enrollment 2013, it was the height of our enrollment with non-traditional students too. They really fueled that enrollment growth. So as the economy heated up, most of those non-traditional students went to work. And so we do believe that we're seeing a little pickup in the non-traditional student enrollment. And I think people are realizing that they need training and certification to advance in careers and to get better jobs. And so we're going to be working with that. What I'd like to ask of you is to share that brochure and use the right date instead of the wrong date. It's been spread on social media, but invite people you know. You know that community college can be transformational. We were in, in a second you'll hear some updates about from our community hub meetings, but one of the communities we were in talked about the poverty in their community as their top community challenge. And community college is a way out of that poverty. We know it can have that effect. So please help us to share that event. And I'm really pleased with the collaboration throughout the college delivering that event. Some good news. Get to my notes. I think the good news is next, right? The Sedalia Democrat annually takes nominations in some categories for best of, and then their readers vote on that. And the Stopmaker Center for Fine Arts was honored as a silver medal for the best community theater. And State Fair Community College was honored with the gold medal for large employer in the community. So Scott, way to go. We're going to hang this banner out front along the walk and really brag about this, recognizing the community that this is the best place to work in the community as a large employer, so really honored to receive this recognition. It took a lot of hard work from folks, gain that. Let's see, recently there was a, event sponsored by MCCA, the Student Leadership Group. It was September 10th. Did I get that date right? Yeah, okay, I got one. There were dozens of college students in attendance from MCCA colleges throughout the state. It was at Lincoln University. We helped set that up at our Lincoln campus. And the programming was led by a staffer from East Central and by our own Dr. Whitehead. She presented on financial planning, and they visited the Capitol during, it was a special time to do a visit of the Capitol because it was during that special session, and it was on the day they were taking a vote. And in the political news that I read, newsletter that I read every day, they said it was the largest crowd they've ever seen at the Capitol that day. And
Loudest crowd.
our students were right in the middle of it.
Concert kind of loud.
Yeah. And so Dr. Whitehead, would you come forward here?
I didn't let any of our students get caught in the crowd.
Got a note from Cliff Judy, who helped organize the event, and let me read the exact note because I'm
I thought I was gonna lose some of them. They were shoulder to shoulder, all 3 floors.
well, like
So loud.
my writing, but it was something along the lines of she nailed it, not only in her presentation, but in her leadership with students. And I like to say my appreciation for your leadership with students and at the state level. And I'd like to give you the
Thank you.
presidential.
I appreciate that.
Yep.
Awesome, Autumn.
Really epitomize what we're all about with that programming and her real strengths. So thank you very much. We have had community hub events. We've had 4 community hub events now as part of our strategic plan. In our strategic plan, the input we received was people wanted State Fair Community College to be hub of our communities. And so one of our fast goals is to assess community needs and develop an action plan for that. So we started with these community hub sessions in each of our communities in Pettis and Benton County. And this is the document that we give. You all have it in front of you, a little explanation about our strategic plan. But on the back is the questions that we ask. And it's really involved a discussion. We collect the responses from folks through technology, but we've had some really strong discussion with that. You can take the QR code and you can go into the survey if you wanted to leave information, or feel free to give this to people you know in the community and encourage them to offer that kind of input. We have had small crowds at these events, but those that have attended have been very enthusiastic and have had a lot of great ideas. We're starting to see some themes develop even with these small crowds, some consistent responses. So we have 7 more events left. Next week, we have an event in Lincoln. I don't know. Jeff is our board member or did you guys? No,
I'm for sure at Otterville.
Otterville.
Can be yes. I haven't checked my email today, so maybe you.
We're looking for a board representative in Lincoln, and then Jeff is doing Otterville, and these other communities may be untaken as well, or at times days and place. So we don't have a lot of staff from the college because we don't want to have more staff than people from the community there. But the board members have been able to also talk about part of the session, at the end of it, we also share information about our mill levy. And I've also attached that document in the board agenda called election handout. And that's information about the mill levy that we're handing out to folks. And you feel free to print that out. You can give that out to folks if you have interactions with people about the mill levy. And if you have suggestions about other information we should add or share, you can certainly do that. Darcy, thank you very much for organizing, for presenting those. She does a great job. Jolynn has set up all of those community meetings, and that's made quite a bit of work. So any comments from Patty or Justin or Richard who've attended events?
The crowds are small, their message is mighty and valuable, so I think you all accept them.
Any questions about that? The really great thing is in all of the strategic areas on the front, those 4 focus areas, we have activities going on in each of those. And for example, I'm excited to announce that in the K-12 relationship areas, the first fast goal is identify a pilot school district and develop a model comprehensive cooperative plan. The Warsaw School District has agreed to be that pilot school district. And we've met with the superintendent. He's given us some ideas, and the ball's in our court now to kind of come back to him with some programming around how we respond to that. So really, strong work starting now on our strategic plan. A couple of things you might notice in the room. This isn't a big deal, but our strategic planning documents have been updated at the back with our new strategic plan. A couple of meetings ago, I was putting up the lectern and made a misstep and it lapsed. And we called maintenance and they said it was unrepairable. So we do have a new lectern that in the room that we picked out to be a little easier to move. So hopefully I won't destroy it. So last thing, manufacturer's milestone. I sent you a note about that, but we need if you want to go to that event, we need to get RSVPs tonight. So you can tell me after the meeting if you're going to go. We have to turn those RSVPs in by tomorrow. And I don't know if we've got any RSVPs or Lisa, has anybody contacted you? No. So if you'd like to attend that event, it's sponsored by the Padilla Economic Development Organization. They honor our industries that reached milestones in their business, 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, 100 years in business. So it's 5:30, October 16th, the Country Club. So those are RSVPs today. So that's my report.
Okay, all right, we're ready for the party.
So we're 2 months into the new year, so I wouldn't get too excited about anything just yet, although I will say that our revenue has been strong the first couple of months. We've had strong enrollment, so to have, when I see tuition and fees over 50% of our budget, it's a very good number. So overall, our revenues are strong. Expense wise, the first quarter, there's some timing issues, so we'll wait to the end of it, but you can see our expenses are pretty much fairly much in line with last year, so we're controlling those very well, but that's let the quarter play out. Let some of the timing come into play, but again, I see nothing in here that concerns me, and I see a few things in here that make me feel very good about how we're starting off the year. So we'll keep monitoring that. Had a couple of expenses report to you that were in the range of, we didn't really have to hopefully bid it out, but we had a payment to Holly Construction of $21,400 that were done for repairs to the existing residence hall restrooms. They had a couple of them needed basically to be totally rebuilt. So I'm hoping those are working out better for the students. And you might have noticed late in the spring, early summer, there were a number of dead trees on campus. One of them right out here. Actually, I think there were 11 or 12. We had those removed by D&E Lawn Care for 13,950. So that's my report.
Keith? All right, looks like it's time for board discussion. On your mind?
We didn't mention that Health Sciences hosted a state meeting last week. And saw the notes from MCCA that were very positive about the health sciences meeting that was held on campus here and the campus facilities that were used to host the event with the hospital.
All right, well, looks like we're gonna be getting busy, so get your calendars filled up.
One thing, we lost a past employee, been here for a long time. She's actually one of my teachers. When I went to.
She was.
She wasn't that old. Lisa Shoemaker.
Yes.
Been here for that's literature instructor and strong leader at the institution.
Don't blame her for my writings.
The next Board of Trustee meeting for general session will be on Thursday, October 30th, 2025 at 5:30 here in the boardroom.
Might note that we expect to have a work session prior to that meeting to tour the new clinical health facility. Did I say that right, Allison? Clinical Sciences is the name we'll be proposing to the board at the next board meeting, the Clinical Sciences building. We'll have a tour of that prior to the board meeting.
Will be going to NCCA,
NCCT.
NCCT, yes. Okay, so looks like next on the agenda is the request for closed session. After closed session, there is no other item on the agenda, so after the closed session, we'll adjourn. But I would entertain a motion to approve to go into closed session for legal actions, causes of action, or litigation with RSMO section 610.0211. And hiring, firing, disciplining, or promotion of personnel pursuant to section 610.0213.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Amy Brashears is absent. Tim Carr,
Yes.
Dustin Hubbs.
Yeah.
Jeff Page.
Yes.
Yes.
Thanks for coming, guys.
Very much.